Alright, what is going on, guys? We are going to be doing a weapon review today for the FENG 82 LMG. Now this LMG came out in Black Ops 6 Season 2. Now I finally leveled up the weapon. I've had some time to test it and try it out. I've done a little bit of research and tried to compare everything about this weapon to its other counterparts in the LMG category. So with the research that I did with the FENG 82 LMG, I wanted to compile all the information that I got and ran it down through these categories. So I'm going to be talking about the important stats to note under each category and how they compare to the rest of the LMGs, the shots to kill amount in both Warzone and multiplayer. We also have the time to kill speeds and how they compare to the other LMGs at its base weapon. We're talking about the greatest strengths that this weapon will have, and we're also going to talk about the greatest weakness that this weapon has, and just my overall thoughts on the weapon in general. And what we're going to do is we're going to compile all of this information and we're going to ask ourselves, is it meta worthy, or is this just another weapon they added to that weapon category? So I'm not going to be going through every single weapon stat that the FENG LMG has and comparing it to the other LMGs. I'm just going to be talking about some of the base stats that you guys should know that is important to know when it comes to using this weapon. So starting with the firepower, right now the damage, it does have the highest overall damage, with 38 being to the chest and everywhere on the other parts of the body and 51 being to the head. And then out of all the LMGs, this one has the lowest effective damage range, only being at 17.8 meters for its max effect. We also have the slowest fire rate in its class, being at 461 rounds per minute, but at least for the bullet velocity, it is the highest in its class, which is at 740 meters per second. And now this is just at its base weapon stats. Moving on to accuracy, for gun kick, it is going to be the lowest in its class, so that visual recoil is going to be very minor when it comes to the FENG LMG. Horizontal recoil is the third lowest, and vertical recoil, unfortunately, it does have the highest vertical kick out of all the LMGs. Now moving on to mobility stats, in the mobility stat category, overall it does have the highest mobility compared to all the other LMGs. Now we're moving on to weapon handling. So for both ADS, aim down sight speed, and sprint to fire speed, it is the fastest in its class. So when it comes to weapon handling, the FENG LMG does win in this category. So moving on to the next one, I'm going to be talking about shots to kill. Now when it comes to Warzone, it does take 7 to the chest or 5 to the head when it comes to 3 plates being on, and then in multiplayer it's going to be 3 to the chest or 2 to the head. Now to translate the shots to kill to the actual time to kill speeds, it is going to be a little bit different. For multiplayer, unfortunately, it does have the highest TTK for close range, third highest for medium range, and highest again for long range. And then looking at the time to kill speeds for Warzone, unfortunately it is the highest TTK for close and medium range. It is only effective being the second fastest when it comes to long range, so we're looking at 80 plus meters. So taking the stat information we know about this LMG, the time to kill speeds as well as the shots to kill, what are the greatest strengths that this LMG has? In my opinion, I think it's going to be very good in high velocity. Since it does have the highest velocity out of all the LMGs, you can capitalize on that strength and do a lot of high velocity attachments. The only attachments that you're going to be able to add additional velocity is going to be your barrel and your weapon mod attachment. And to pair it with the high velocity, we also have the highest damage out of all the other LMGs. Whether it be chest, body, arm, or head, it is going to give you the highest damage output per shot. And the last strengths of the FENG LMG is going to be the fastest aim down sight speed as well as sprint to fire speeds. Now you compare all these strengths of high velocity, high damage, high weapon handling, I think these are the ones that make this weapon great. But we're going to talk about the weaknesses, and because of these weaknesses, I feel this is the reason why this weapon may not have a good chance of being meta. The first main thing that really stood out for the greatest weakness of this weapon is its fire rate. You could have the highest damage output, you could have the highest bullet velocity, but if that fire rate is not there, compared to the fact that we don't have stable servers and not everyone's ping is going to be at its best, I think the fire rate really sets people back when it comes to trying to trace your targets. Maybe at close to medium range it should be okay, but in Warzone, when you're trying to aim at longer ranges and longer distances, that fire rate to account for bullet drop and bullet drag and the spacing in between each shot while trying to land it on a moving target is going to be very hard. Another weakness that this weapon has is it has the lowest effective damage range, being at 17.8 meters, and combine that with its slow fire rate, it is going to be very hard to be able to dish out the long range damage at a very consistent output, even though it does have a high damage output. And you can see because of these two weaknesses, it still has the highest TTK for both multiplayer and Warzone. So compiling all the information that we know about the FENG 82 LMG, the last question that we're going to end with this video is this weapon going to be meta? In my opinion, I don't think so, whether it be in multiplayer or Warzone. Just the fact that even though this weapon has high damage output, high weapon handling, the fire rate is really what sets it back. Because of the crappy servers that COD has and the discrepancies in ping and its inability to have anything higher than a 20 Hz refresh rates for its servers, trying to counter the slow fire rate, trying to land your shots at a medium to long range consistently is still going to be a challenge. And even if your aim was on point and you were to land every single shot, statistically, according to true game data, the time to kill speeds is just not there for the FENG 82. But hey, those are just my overall thoughts about the FENG 82 LMG, and these are the stats to show. But what do you guys think? Have you guys been running the LMG? Do you think it's a great gun? Do you think it's a bad gun? Let me know in the comments below. And like I said, if you do enjoy this content, please drop a like to the video. It does help out the video tremendously in the algorithm. And if you do enjoy the content overall, please sub to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, Noble out.